Yo, what's up guys? We got some big news today in the ARPG space around Last Epoch. So the Last Epoch devs have put out a statement going over everything happening in the company around their acquisition, their financial situation, and the big new expansion that has recently been announced. So if any of that is news to you, we'll do a quick catch up. So basically they were being acquired by a company called Krafton. This happened, I think, a few months ago, and they're still going through this acquisition period. Many of us are not sure what that means for the, for the game, for the future. And, a lot of people have a little bit of, uncertainty about what that means for Last Epoch. On top of that, there was a PlayStation showcase where they announced all the games and all the new things coming to PlayStation. In this PlayStation showcase, there was Last Epoch. And not only did it show Last Epoch is coming to PlayStation, it showed it's coming to PlayStation with an expansion. And we didn't really know what that meant because we haven't seen anything about the expansion yet. So they put out this big statement to clear things up. So we'll read through it and I'll give my thoughts on it. Overall, there's some good stuff here, but there's some pretty worrying stuff. So let's go through it. I'm curious what you guys think. So here it is. Hello, travelers. We know you all have been waiting for more communication from us regarding details on the recently announced expansion, the PlayStation 5 release, and other future plans. We apologize we've been slower to communicate as we're in the thick of an acquisition, which is slowing us down while we're integrating the process. Currently, we're working on seasonal to expansion roadmap to share with you all shortly. We're tidying up some graphics and trying to ensure that we say for the season content is not showing too much that will force us to adjust it shortly after sharing. Also, Last Epoch Orobyss, which is the expansion, is not Season 4. There'll be multiple seasonal releases before it comes to PS5 with the expansion launch. This is also a reason there wasn't a ton of information on the expansion just yet, but rather an announcement for the PlayStation 5 is on the horizon. And I think this is the thing that was most confusing for people because we're currently on Season 3 of Last Epoch, I believe. I think that came out in August. So they're on Season 3. So when there was a expansion announced, it was very confusing and it didn't show anything about what the expansion would be. So to know that, we are a couple of, there's still a few seasons to go before we hit the expansion. They just wanted to share that early, I guess. It was just a strange way to do it, which is probably the reason they've done this big announcement to clear things up. I also want to reiterate that our long-term partnership with Krafton will be hugely strengthening for the studio and the content we're able to create. It ensures a growing future. The Last Epoch, which being transparent, was at risk before. Our goal has always been to create the leading loot-based ARPG, and partnering with Krafton has given us a clear path to accomplish our ambitious goals. As a team of ARPG fanatics, we understand that making a great RPG and the amount of resources it will take to create a game they're excited for have been a main source of entertainment. I think that's a big thing because Last Epoch was a very small dev team, I believe. They were an indie team that grew with the game. We know the burning question, will the expansion have any cost associated to it? We set expectation, the answer is maybe. We weren't profitable in Season 1, 2, or 3 after our 1.0 launch. Even Season 2, with its very successful reception and high turnout, was not profitable due to longer development time and costs. Now, this is the thing that surprised me the most here, because Season 2 was massive. If you're in the ARPG space and you follow like the trends, Season 2 was huge. All the big streamers were playing it, all the big creators were talking about it. It was the ARPG of the time around the PoE stuff. But you can see here on the Steam charts, SteamDB, if you filter it by like yearly, you can see like how low the player count got and how much it jumped for Season 2. Season 2 was like 150,000 players for a time. But I mean, what they've said is the main reason it wasn't profitable is this here. This is how long it took. Season 1 came out on the 9th of July or 1.1. And then they had to wait until, when's this? April 2025. So, nearly a year. And you can see that's going to be a problem, like 9 to 10 months here of development time, of costs, of marketing to get Season 2 out, all that stuff. And then you're relying purely on your cash shop, your micro sales, things like that. And that's got to hurt. That's really got to sting. And then you can see Season 3 was only half as popular. So that's definitely a sting. I mean, I think Last Epoch is a very, very, very well-made game, and I was hoping it was going to be one of the big dogs, one of the big ARPGs going forward. So, and I hope it still is. So it's sad to see that they've not been profitable and they've had, this acquisition is because of that. But let's keep reading. So we can go here. It says, while a partner with more funding adds a massive amount of stability, a studio needs to operate with the same amount of profitability, or inevitably it goes down. Years ago, when we were a significantly smaller team, our goal was not to charge for any content, but our cosmetic sales have not been enough to cover our own development costs over the long term. Our studio has grown significantly and we pay livable wages to our team members. That's good. In true ARPG fashion, our costs have increased, insert power creep joke. That being said, we're still modeling how the expansion will be monetized exactly, but when a decision is made, we'll share it with you right away. We'll provide more information as soon as we have it. Please know our team and goals are unchanged, and we're currently just undergoing a unique growing pain that will result in a bigger, better, and stronger 11th Hour Games, aimed at continuing to make a great loot-paced RPG. I mean, this is a very, very, very good statement. It's very transparent, it's very honest, and it's not what you usually see from these companies. Companies usually, butter up the bad stuff and, try and give other reasons for why things are happening. But just to say, look, we weren't profitable and we might have to charge for the expansion, I don't think that's a good choice, but it's very honest to say it. So yeah, I'm curious what you guys think of this. I was quite surprised. I genuinely thought I figured that before season 1 and 2 and like their 1.0 release, this game was generating a lot of debt because they went through a very long early access with very few players. But when they released, it was very popular and it did well. So it's just a shame that they didn't have any, they didn't have enough sales in those seasons. So let's talk about this expansion. Let's talk about an expansion being paid. I personally don't think that's a good idea. That's my thoughts. I'm curious what you guys think, but I don't think it's the right choice. I love ARPGs. I play them all. I played Last Epoch when it first went into early access, when it first got multiplayer, when it released, the seasons. And, I think there's a lot here. There's a lot here. Some of the systems in Last Epoch are incredible. And I would buy an expansion because I want to support the developers. I want to see where this goes. But I don't think it's going to be the best choice to bring the most players in. What I personally would suggest is if you look at the other players, you've got Diablo 4, which is probably making a obscene amount of money. And then you have PoE, which is also doing really, really well. Now, the way Diablo monetizes is their choice is where can we monetize, and let's monetize at the highest price we can, right? They have a box price, they have an expansion price, they have a battle pass, they have a cash store with like cosmetics, and then most of their events that they add to the game, the big crossover events and stuff, are just events where you can buy whatever they're crossing over with. They currently have a StarCraft crossover. Most of those items, you just buy them. They're not actually things you earn in game. So they go full on every single way they can. And it works. It works because they've got a very loyal fan base. It's Blizzard. And, they have the title. Diablo is a very, very well-known, very, very old title. And it sells. And it will keep selling. So they can do it. And the Vexile, on the other hand, have a much more, I would say, player-friendly model where the game is free. PoE 2 will also be free after early access. And every way that you want to give is up to you. If you want to buy cosmetics, you can. If you want to buy, stash tabs to increase your stash and have more items, you can expand your experience, kind of like convenience. You can. Similarly, there are, these seasonal, not battle passes, but like challenge pass kind of things, and they work really well too. So I would say going more in that route, given that I'd say they are more similar to PoE than they are Diablo. The Last Epoch title isn't that well known, the player base isn't that big, and putting another wall of expansion will drop some people off and will also stop more people getting in. So I would be careful with that personally. I think the best way to go would just be to create something to incentivize people to swipe each season, not forcing it. You can still do everything in the season for free, but giving some people a reason to swipe each season. Like Diablo has the friction. There's always the friction of you have a battle pass and you look at it. Oh, here's all the stuff you can have. It's called like reliquaries now. Here's all the stuff you can have, but look at all the stuff you're missing out on. Oh, you've got more coins to spend, but you can't have them until you open the reliquary. And that makes people buy. Similarly with PoE, there's the friction of, oh, I want the stash tabs, I want more convenience. You'll do it. And there's this challenge thing where it's like you hit certain challenges, you hit certain milestones of the season, and you get rewards. And you can see the rewards and they're really good, but unless you buy it, you can't have them. So I think that would really help in Last Epoch. Just something like, hit max level with a character, complete a certain endgame milestone, complete a certain endgame boss, find just certain challenges that are season specific. And if you hit them, you get something free. And then if you had the pass, you would get something as well. And looking at that, like 150,000 players, if 50,000 bought that, that's a lot more people, I think, than would buy a skin or that would buy a pet. So that would be my suggestion. But hey, I'm not in the company. I don't know if that'd be enough. That's just my thoughts. But let me know what you think. This is a very, very good statement, and I'm hopeful. There's still a very big amount of uncertainty here. Dropping on consoles is huge. They've not said anything about Xbox on here. I don't know if they're already out on Xbox, honestly. But dropping on consoles is going to bring tons of players in. Big win. But I think put it in front of as many people as possible, letting people get in as easy as possible, and then giving people more incentives to buy additional things along the way would be the way to go. But yeah, really curious what you think. Last Epoch, one of the most interesting ARPGs we've had in a while, and I really hope that things go well for them. Let's see. Thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.